It's time to go beyond plus ultra for more Boku no Hero Academia.
Oh god, the tides are turning every way in this episode.
Minus Arthlu plus ultra, minus Arthlu plus ultra. Ooh!
The back and forth is real.
Lots of twists I was not expecting.
Also a callback I was nowhere near expecting.
Yeah?
I never would have saw that one coming. Holy shit, pulling from episode 1? Really? Holy. Would have been hilarious if it was, in fact, truly this guy who was the actual big bad.
Maybe?
He's been the one puppeteering them the whole time.
So yeah, we resume Toga's Crisis.
Yeah, pretty much our preview coming right back, or like, well, no, this was like literally the end of the last episode after the credits,
Right.
but before the preview.
Mhm.
Literally just this again, which I'm like, then why was this on the last episode? Why is it here again? What are we doing? Because like that's all we get. We cut away from this problem completely after this.
And I'm like, what just happened? Why was that a scene?
Like the whole all for one thing is just like we're back to this fight, which is apparently pretty far off from the Toga situation, I guess. Like from what I recall, when we get some of the like bigger shots, I don't think we even see it in the background. So I don't know if it's close or if the camera at that point is just kind of facing in the different direction.
I forget where each spot of the 8 exactly is in accordance to each other.
Well, yeah, but like Toga came through the portal in the same place as Dobby, and both of them are right where All for One was at the start of this.
Oh, so
They were all in
Toga's.
the same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were all in the same place at the start of this.
Mm.
And then All for One was like, I'm going to fly off in this chaos. And he must have gotten pretty far, I guess, because we don't see the actual thing happening in the background at all.
Okay. I forgot that Toga teleported in to where All for One was.
Yep, both her and Dobby are there. Speaking of which, we don't see Dobby doing anything either. We have no idea what's going on with that situation.
We might next time?
Just that Endeavor's on the case. And that always ends well. Especially with Dobby.
And Ochiko notices that one of the Twice clones is crying. Hey, that must be Toga.
Look at that one over there. It's got yellow eyes. Like a snake. You can tell the difference if it's poisonous or not by looking at the eyes. Or by letting it bite you. Whichever works first.
So, question for you. When
Uh-huh.
Jiro says we need to make it darker in order for Dark Shadow to become more powerful, Cammy says, I can do that. Can her illusions manifest into reality? Like, if she creates the illusion that it's dark, is it actually dark?
So I'm not 100% sure how this one works. Mostly because like her glamour is also like a mist she breathes out. I don't know how solid that becomes. Like none of her illusions can actually hurt anyone. But like do they have a physical opaqueness to them that can block the sun? Maybe. I don't know.
Hmm. And I was not.
Like it does distort light to create illusions,
Okay.
right? So maybe in that sense it's distorting the light.
Okay, I could see that. And I was not expecting All for One to be this young.
Yeah, we went from like I'm gonna say early 40s, right? To like I wanna say late teens, like 17.
Yeah?
Like right now he looks just older than like the class 1A.
I mean, if this was All for One from the beginning, I bet he would be on some anime like top hottest guy list because he does have some Bioshin looks to him,
Uh-huh.
like some evil pretty boy look,
Oh yeah.
and I'm just like, why, Horikoshi? Why did you make him hot?
It's like, you know, if Gentle decided, like, as a young man to be an actual evil villain. Yeah.
Stupid, sexy all for one.
And then, oh shit, Makia's here. What the fuck happened? Why is Makia here?
Mm, did you expect Brainwash Boy to be riding him?
I was wondering where he would come into play, but I did not think Makia was where he would come into play.
I did not either.
Like, I knew he had some other role to play here, but I wasn't sure what. It
Hmm.
wasn't just to trick All for One. There was more than that. Um, does make me wonder why they didn't try to do it to Kurogiri.
Oh,
Although I guess Kurogiri would have had to have responded to him, which I don't know if he would have.
okay.
Um, the attempt, though, I would think should have at least been made. But yeah, no, Makia's here hurling fucking boulders at All for One. Apparently, Makia is mad. And now we flashback. We flashback to whatever the fuck just happened to get Makia here.
Yeah, some villain is using a high frequency for All for One's voice, and
Mhm.
Makia's dog quirk can hear it.
That's the plan anyway. It hasn't quite triggered at the point where we first see him, but it does in the end after Mount Lady tries to knock him down.
And Shinso is being attacked by some slime monster thing?
So they bring Shinzo in originally as a backup in case something happens where Makia gets loose. They weren't sure if it would work, but it was worth the chance in bringing him.
Hmm.
However, as Red Riot's coming over, we get to see this big old slime monster, which, if you recall, is literally from the first episode, and the one that was trying to eat Bakugo, and the one that showed All Might that Deku was the one to inherit One for All.
Oh, really? That was the same.
It's the
Oh!
same guy. It's why we get a flashback to when he goes like, "Oh man, this is so much better than that other kid," and it's a flashback of Bakugo.
Oh! Okay.
Literally episode 1 callback. I'm impressed. It makes sense that this guy would be here because of all the prison jail and jailbreaks.
Oh.
But oh man, Mina is like, I am not letting this shit happen, and she fucking acids. Literally, she concentrates her acid to melt some of Makia's arm, or like the nails at least, before it hits Mount Lady. And apparently, her doing this costs her what? Her like the moisture in her body to do it,
Hmm.
which is also interesting because as she's doing it, she's getting like a normal skin tone again, like rather than the usual pink. Which I'm curious what that means. Like, is the acid stored in a like non-liquid state as like the pinkness of her skin and hair and stuff?
It would be interesting if that was the case to see her with a average skin tone, and I wonder what color her hair actually is if that is the case.
Yeah, because like she loses that, and at one point when Kirishima's holding her, he mentions how she's so dehydrated. We also get like a mini flashback of her learning from Bakugo and
Shoto.
yeah, and Shoto about like how they did their training and powers, which if her quirk is in any way like Bakugo's, and it takes her like sweat or whatever to do it, right? To flush out her own body fluids to make the acid come out.
So her body fluids might be acid, while Bakugo's is
No, no,
nitroglycerin.
no, 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 no. This is the way I think it might work based on what I'm seeing. But like the acid only like becomes acid when it mixes with whatever body fluid she's pumping out,
Ah,
right?
okay, okay.
In this case, like it would be maybe sweat or something else. She must be able to somehow pump out liquid from her body, or
Okay.
like use the water within her body to pump out. And as that is mixing with whatever acid powder or shit that's in her body, the pink bits, that's when it's being pushed out. On top of that, it also looks like doing this is causing her like acid burns as well.
I saw those.
Yeah, so this is self-inflicting to do this much damage, or at the very least she hasn't trained enough to for her body to be able to handle it. One of the two.
And when Red Right was like scooping her up into her arms, and they had the little heart to heart, and I'm just
Uh-huh.
like, I literally said, "All right, just kiss, damn it. You know you want to."
We should also point out Mina just straight up murders this dude, this slime dude.
Hmm.
He's dead. Like I don't think there's a reasoning that can be brought that he's alive. Like he even is stating, but right before he like tries to get away and then dies, that like her acid is mixing with like the weird slime shit that his body is, and it kills him. It straight up kills him from the inside.
That's brutal.
Yeah. But yeah, so Shinzo's free and Makia gets taken over. And they use Makia to take care of all the other villains that are there that are still not captured.
Yeah,
And then sorry,
and
go ahead.
Yeah, Machia just seems a little bit more monstrous than I remembered him to be.
He
Like,
seems about the same.
I didn't remember him having such large claws and like such large
So he didn't at first, but like after he managed to clear away from everyone else when he was trying to meet up with Shigaraki, he like got that mole quirk or whatever
uh-huh.
that lets him dig through the ground. That's where he gets the claws from.
And like the two not
Tusks.
molars, yeah,
Tusks.
tusks. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's from the same one.
okay.
Anyway, cut back to current time.
Yeah, Gigantomachia is even more dog-like on, Master, why did you leave me? I'm mad at you now.
I mean, All for One basically kicked a puppy. That's what this has become.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he didn't fucking uppercut it the way Dio did when he got out of out of the carriage, but he still kicked a puppy.
I was thinking Dio. I was honestly going to make it was me, Dio, but I couldn't think of a lead-in.
so, so this just leads me to ask, who wins, All for One or Dio?
Does Dio have the world?
Yes,
I
Dio at his highest point, like canonically his highest point versus All for One.
would say Time Freeze can still beat out any quirk that All for One may have.
I mean, that's not to mention the fact that he can't even see the world to begin with. He's not a stand user. This
Right?
isn't a quirk he can steal.
So I guess Dio is stronger than All for One?
See, that's the other thing. I don't know if he would be physically stronger one based on whatever fucking quirks All for One would have.
Fair point. So, huh. It's because he can't see the world, but.
And also can't move and stop time. Unless
Right,
he has some quirk we don't know about that can make that happen.
right. But All for One has a bunch of quirks that when Dio's time is done and the cooldown is happening, All for One could jump in and attack.
Also, keep in mind, Dio can regenerate and shit. All he needs is a little bit of blood.
Right. Comments. Please leave your answer. All for one versus Dio. Who would win? And we're not giving a shit that it's two different franchises.
No, that makes it more interesting because now you have two different power sets to work with.
Yes!
All right. Anyway, Mount Lady's also here. So it's Giant Dark Shadow, Makia, and Mount Lady all just fucking. To jump back to JoJo, it's from part 5 when they're all beating up on the random dude in the street. It's literally that situation. When Narazia and the other two are just like, yeah, let's kick the shit out of him. This guy must be a stand user.
And I forget, like, who is it that like takes a sip of his coffee and then joins in?
I think that's a Bakio, if I remember correctly. Just joins right. I think it's Narantia, Mista, and then Abakio joins in at the end. So like, God, these guys are fucking children. All right, let's get the shit out of them.
I did find it just a little bit confusing at first when Makia was still pissed off, even though All for One used a light quirk, and apparently light can undo brainwashing.
Yeah, it was interesting because that's where we find out that Makia is actually angry at All for One.
Yeah, and I'm just
The
like, wait, he's
loyal
still
dog has
mad?
been picked. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, wait, why? And then he's like, Master, you left me. And I'm like, oh yeah, dog quirk, I forgot.
Double-edged sword. You fucked it up.
Mm-hmm.
But now All for One's like, oh fuck, I get it now. Now I figured out how they've tricked me. Sons of bitches. Oh. Anyway, flashback about sad days and being left behind, blah blah blah. Shinzo's like, I let his anger fester. I let it happen. Let him seethe. Use that to our advantage.
And then we have a scene of the world reacting to the fight.
Yeah, we get a massive scene of people being of like news choppers taking in what's going on and basically broadcasting to the world.
And somehow Gentle is very, very popular now.
Apparently. Also decent callback that we're pulling on these reporters that we saw in like one episode for 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then Mount Lady gets very injured.
I feel like she's been more injured.
Really?
I feel like she took a bigger hit during the first time Makia was around. Like,
Okay.
don't get me wrong, this is enough to put her down for a bit, but like, I feel like she was more injured before. Yeah, we finally get to see what that one quirk does. When what was it? When All for One holds up his hand, and we got to see like each finger sprouting a different quirk or whatever.
Yeah.
This is the one that had the face on it. This weird like worm face thing that just takes a chunk out of her side.
Now, it must be like eating at the same time.
I have no idea what it's doing.
But speaking about being injured, Makia is, I think, dead.
Makia took a hard hit. I don't know if he's dead. Although, you know, the beating took its toll on All for One, though. He's literally like muscle and like bone trying to regenerate because of Rewind.
I think we called him Corpse for One.
Yeah, he is now corpse for one until said time that his body is fully restored.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of those things where I'm sitting here like, if you would take his head off fully, right? Like, you just rip his head in half. Does Rewind stop? Like, if you hit him with a strong, or is this like a cell situation where you have to literally destroy every single cell of his body? Otherwise, Rewind will bring him back.
I don't know.
Like, do we need Gohan to come in here with a father-son Kamehameha is what I'm asking.
And it seems that somehow Shigaraki's influence is within him now.
Well, see, that's the other reason I was talking about, like, how far away from the Toga situation are they? Because that might mean how close he is to his original, or to Shigaraki.
Right. Or
Which
maybe because he's getting younger, the distance can expand?
I don't know. Either he's gotten close enough that he's starting to feel that, and I'm not sure if that's because he questions, like, I don't know if he says it out loud or if this is in his own head, but he says something along the lines of like, "Is this influence the other me?" Right? And I'm sitting there like, is it the other you or is it Shigaraki? Because that's the one who seems to be in charge right now. And do you even know that Shigaraki's the current dominant personality? Because that
Hmm.
might change his plans.
Right. But it seems that their possible resignation between each other is making him more powerful?
It might be that, or it might just be like Shigaraki's urge for destruction just leaking into him.
Okay. Okay,
Like it
because
could be that same thing.
yeah, because he says like he can feel his quirks getting stronger.
Well, he
Like
says there's something dark rising up in me, which makes me feel like it's Shigaraki's urge to just eviscerate everything in sight.
mm,
Either way, we get to see Dark Shadow just completely blown away by some other quirk. I don't know
yeah.
which one this is.
Were you expecting Hawks' quirk to be stolen?
Probably not. Mostly because I didn't think it would be a useful enough quirk for it to be worth stealing. I get that maybe it will speed All for One up, and that's the idea as for stealing his first, but like when he does steal it, it seems like the damage that's already done to the quirk is still on All for One.
Yeah, because
Like the wings
Rewind.
aren't full, they're still fucking shredded. Also, yeah, Hawks mentions that his quirks aren't part of himself, or at least the ones he's stolen. So rewind doesn't affect them. So if he steals a damaged quirk, the quirk is still damaged.
And it doesn't seem like any of his quirks are disappearing.
No, no, which it makes sense considering rewind doesn't affect them. They wouldn't disappear, which was one of the questions I had when this first started happening. Also, fun little tidbit, the more damage he takes, the faster rewind starts working.
I kind of figured that.
Well, I mean, when we saw how quickly he went from like 40 to 17, yeah.
I mean, even before this, because I kind of thought that with Deku pushing himself, Rewind needed to work harder. So I thought maybe something with
Well,
him.
I don't think we ever knew that.
Oh,
Like, I'm not 100% sure how long it was that Deku was fighting Overload. But I don't know that we saw long enough for Rewind to be in effect as long as it has been for All for One.
wait. Overload or overhaul? I thought it was.
Sorry, Overhaul. I couldn't
Okay.
remember his name exactly. I'm like, it's not Overlord, is it Overload?
Mm,
Overhaul, yes. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think we saw them fight for as long as All for One is fighting, for one. Number two, I don't think that like Deku was using uh One for All at like full strength at that point, maybe a bit further past that, at least as far as we know. But it didn't seem like he was increasing the output as he was fighting. Whether
oh.
or not his body was just taking more damage to deal with that fact, who knows?
Okay.
Like over the course of the fight, I mean, I'm not sure. But either way, I don't think the situation's the same. Also, maybe All for One should have taken Dark Shadow. That might have been a better idea. Didn't do it, mostly because he's running out of time.
Yeah, and I liked how Grape Juice says, hey, don't take Dark Shadow, take my quirk instead. You'll get a really awesome hairstyle.
Yeah, shockingly, one of the few times Mineta has actually done something that is legitimately selfless and not to be a horn dog. Like, Everything in his character has been to be a horn dog. This is the only time I can think of that he's actually done something that is legitimately selfless and potentially heroic that no one else is going to see. That's the other point. No one else is going to see this.
Mineta will be like, hey guys, I kind of stood up to All for One.
Yeah, I was so cool. I did it. Did you see me? No one saw it.
Oh, poor Mineta.
Yeah, and the best part is, I mean, well, worst part really, is that he's literally just going to go right back to this shit the minute he can.
Yep.
Anyway, yep, need to leave. Fierce Wings might be able to make him a little bit faster, but given the current state of that quirk, I don't know if it really will.
Yeah, and Hawk says, hey, there's still hope.
There is still hope, even more so if he can get that knowledge about the quirk speed. Well, I don't know if he will, because he fucking passes out.
Right.
But I don't know if he'd be able to even communicate that or if that would matter. Well, actually, no. Based on what we see in the preview, it might. Because I think someone else is going to start slowing down All for One.
Mm-hmm.
An old buddy of his.
I am looking forward to that.
So how do you think this is going to play out? Because we get to see a bit of Dobby, like you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we get to see exactly what I was saying, which is Ingenium literally fucking flying Shoto into the fight with Dobby.
That is going to be interesting.
Father-son fire attacks?
Maybe?
So then the real shocker is who's here this time with his big old smile? And how do you think this is going to happen? Because I have an idea.
Do you want to say?
I want to hear your thought first before I say what I think mine is.
Okay,
How do you
I
think All Might's going to do this?
I don't think All Might will die. I do not think that. But I will say he will have some kind of support item that will allow him to stand what could be considered toe to toe against All for One. But then again, with him in his younger, more agile state, would whatever support item be effective anymore?
See, that's what I'm curious about, but I think I know what that support item is going to be.
Mech suit?
I think that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be Batman versus Bane. I think he's going to have like a bat mech suit.
Oh,
It's probably going to be stylized after himself rather than Batman, obviously, but it's
yes.
going to be like a bat mech.
Oh,
I don't know how that's going to stand up to All for One, but like I'm very curious to see how.
Mecha One for All. Ooh, ooh.
No, 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 no.
Mecha All
It is
Might.
all. I was about no. It's either Mecha Might or All for All Mecha.
All Mecha. All Mecha. Oh my god, yes, 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 yes!
I want to know how this goes down. I want to know how that stands up to all the bullshit that All for One has.
This is going to be fun! This is going to be fun next time!
It's not going to show us this. It'll be the last 2 minutes of the episode. It's going to be all Dobby all the time.
God damn it, you're probably right.
If it wasn't for the fact that the title is "I Am Here" for the next episode, I have to believe it's gotta be it's gonna be mostly this.
Mostly Dobby or mostly Mecha for
It's
one?
gotta be Mecha for one.
Okay.
Like
Or Mecha
it
for
can't
all,
not
Mecha for all.
all Mecha.
Yeah, all Mecha.
It's gotta be all Mecha if the title of the episode is "I Am Here." It's gotta be at least half of it.
Hmm.
Oh,
Or at least a third, because they typically pick one of the chapters and name the episode that.
it's gotta be enough of this. I can't imagine it's the last 2 minutes. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Not when the name is that. Otherwise, they would have picked a different chapter name.
Right. Correct. So, come back with us next time to either be disappointed or excited.
Yeah.